Ninjutsu is that you don't do it face to face. However, there is a time when you are assassinating people. That's like the gray area there, right? But there's a big argument about does ninjutsu consist of fighting martial arts or does it not consist of fighting martial arts? So what I want you guys to develop your own opinion. In the Bansenshukai in volume number 15, it says, for close combat or sword fighting, there is no way to describe how to do such things in length here. So he's saying, when you're in close quarter combat or you're fighting, right? You're doing sword fighting, I'm not going to write down all the shit you should do. Not right here in this book. But, he says, therefore, just be sure to train yourself in Kenjutsu, swordsmanship, or Yaijutsu, which is sword drawing. These tactics always depend on the time and place. So here's a ninja saying, when you're in close quarter combat, make sure that you know how to do Kenjutsu, make sure you know how to do Yaijutsu. And all of those tactics need to change depending on the situation. So, your guys' opinion, and then I'll give you my tidbits on it as well. But your opinion, do you think that means Kenjutsu is part of Ninjutsu, and Yaijutsu is part of Ninjutsu? Do you think that's what Fujibayashi means? Or do you think he's saying, if you're a ninja, you should train in Kenjutsu? If you're a ninja and learn swordsmanship. If you're a ninja, you should train in Yaijutsu and learn that. But those things aren't ninjutsu, because he's specifically saying Kenjutsu. He didn't say ninjutsu. So there's your thoughts. Go ahead.
I think that what he's saying is that a ninja, like ninjutsu is the stealth part, the ninja part of it, but that a ninja needs to know more than just that. That you need to train in the other aspects, the conventional side of war, in order to properly be a ninja.
Okay, pretty good. You're going to go with an agreement?
Yeah.
Very agreeing. It's just basically saying it's you need to know what these other people are going to be fighting and to be able to do your job.
Okay, good.
It's a very basic and simple idea, honestly. When people don't understand or they don't agree on it, I don't understand why. It's like when you actually take a look at an individual. I mean, some people are good at one thing compared to something else. You have someone that could be considered a specialist at the bow and arrow versus a sword. So it's like when they do their missions, usually, I'm assuming based off of just logic that their missions would be fit towards their specialization. If you're going to have someone try to assassinate someone by bow and arrow, you wouldn't have some guy who's never shot one before. You're going to put your best damn one up there, exactly. So when people say that ninjutsu is only one specific aspect, you have to understand that the limitations are more based on the individual and what they're good at and what they're bad at versus the entire 36 skills. Now, of course, should they be introduced to everything and should they at least be adequate in everything? Definitely. You should not have a weakness. But I mean, you got to use your head a little bit on this one.
So the question here is, do you think Fujibayashi is saying, I'm going to read it one more time. For close combat and sword fighting, there is no way to describe how to do such things at length here. So he's saying, in that situation, I'm not going to write down all that shit right here.
Yeah, it's too much.
Right, too much. There's too much.
Entire arts.
Yeah, therefore, just be sure to train yourself in Kenjutsu or EI. Tactics always depend on the time and place. So, by saying that, my question is, do you feel he's saying Kenjutsu and EI is an aspect of ninjutsu, or is Kenjutsu and EI separate from ninjutsu, but ninjas need to train in Kenjutsu and they need to know how to fight with a sword?
It's separate, but they need to know how to do it as well. I mean, it's in order to get a mission done, you have to be, like I said, you have to be able to know multiple different aspects, and swordsmanship is separate from ninjutsu, but you still have to have it.
Right. What do you think?
And you're going to have to train for whatever your mission is.
Yeah, very good.
Well, for me, I like to look at things logically. So if I look at the word ninjutsu and kind of break it down, the art of concealment or the art of, and basically, through endurance and things like that. But if I look at it that way and break it down, then that's what that is. It's the art of concealment. So you can be trained in the art of concealment, but what if you get caught? What do you do? You know, I feel like that's the important part of what he's talking about. Is like you have to know what to do when this occasion arises, which I think everybody's here has already touched on in other ways. But yeah, I do believe that they are separate. You have the art of concealment, you have the art of the sword, you have the art of drawing the sword. You know, there's different aspects, different disciplines that you have to train yourself in to get a bigger picture, I guess, if you will.
Right. You want to add to it, or you think everyone's
Well, I mean, they are separate. I mean, in my opinion, they're separate. There's definitive line, there's ninjutsu, and then there's drawing sword, using a sword. But yeah, I believe you should learn the basic skills and learn how to do this. Like he said, if you get caught in that situation, if you don't know how to defend yourself, you get killed. So if you don't know how to do it, then.
Do you agree? You want to add, or?
I agree. It seems to me that if you're going to develop an army, you're going to train everybody how to use the weapons, and then you're going to, if you need people to gather information, you're not going to train everybody. It's too intensive to do that. You're going to train special people to go get information. But your army is made of warriors that can use weapons. So it's like they're two subjects, whereas like the information gathering is a more advanced subject. They have to know swordsmanship, but it's a different subject.
Great. So, oh, my back. Lean back, not too far on that one. But yeah, I think that's good. The one thing that I like that everyone said is that you guys were very specific. Every one of you guys said they're separate. That's absolutely true. Because if they weren't separate, then it doesn't work the other way. You guys have to look at everything from both sides. You can't look at it from one side and think you know the answer. If I said this exactly backwards, if I said, like, is Kenjutsu actually part of Ninjutsu? And all of your guys were like, nah, they're two separate things. Sword here, Ninjutsu here. But that was the question. But if you switch it and I say, is Ninjutsu part of Kenjutsu? Everybody would be like, no way in hell. Ninjutsu has absolutely nothing to do with fighting with a sword. This is a quote that I see a lot of times on the internet, and people will take this and say, nope, Ninjutsu actually has swordsmanship in the curriculum. If you're going to train in ninjutsu, you have to train it with swordsmanship. And it's absolutely not true. Fujibayashi is just saying you should know how to do it.
First question is, where do you get it? Where's it from?
Right. Now, I'm not saying what organization the majority of those posts come from. I'm not, the camera's running. I ain't doing that. What I'm saying is that this quote comes up a lot online, and people say that. What I'm saying is I'm glad that you guys are smart enough to understand that ninjutsu is one thing and Kenjutsu is another. And yes, ninjas need to learn how to train with a sword, but they're not the same thing. And that's extremely important to understand. So it's good that you guys all came up with that.